win number one?
Makes you want more. Really proud of the guys. This is a unique game in and of itself, just with the delay. But to get that first one on the road against a quality opponent, I thought the guys showed a lot of resiliency, and just also just how they would respond to adversity. You know what I mean? And they practiced the right way and prepared the right way throughout the week, and it showed up today.
And as far as the defense goes, Ryan, the shutout in the second half really seemed to pick it up. Last week you couldn't get that last stop.
Yeah.
This week you get it. Just kind of talk about the defense.
Yeah, we were preaching just playing with discipline all week. We played with discipline at times a week ago, but when we gave up big plays or gave up points, it was usually somebody playing outside the framework of the defense. And so you saw that buy-in and that attention to detail this week, and that resulted in really shut them out in the second half, and also holding them to, I think it was 11 yards rushing. I think they had -2 going into that last drive. Just shows what type of team we can be, especially with our guys up front, when we play with proper technique, proper fundamentals, and are communicating at a high level.
How big of a weapon will Max Clark become as he gets older?
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying is what we've been saying since spring ball, really. He's big, physical, and can really catch the ball out of the tight end position and create mismatch and matchup issues out on the perimeter. And so he'll be a weapon for us for sure.
What made that run defense of yours so effective today?
Just guys playing within the framework of the scheme. Everybody has to do their job, and when they do, then plays will come to you. And so you'll be in a good position to make the plays when they come to you. And so guys understood that because of some of the mistakes that we made a week ago. They got to feel what happens when you don't do that. And then those guys are big physical dudes up front, and so they're hard to move. And so when guys are on the same page and playing sound defense, they play well.
How important was it for you guys to get Mockabee in the run game going?
That was huge, especially down the stretch. I've been saying, like, we're going to throw the ball to score points, but you got to be able to run it to win games, and that showed today. We were good through the air, especially in the first half. Made a couple of key third down plays down the stretch in the air, and then being able to run that clock out and get in a position where we can kneel it out was huge in the run game.
A very unique delay, over 5 hours. What did you do to keep the team on point coming out of that break?
Yeah, once we found out, there was discussion about maybe starting at the 3 o'clock, around the 3 o'clock window. We found out that was not the case, and it was going to be more closer to 7. We had the guys take their pads off, really try to forget about the game for a little while. So we had a big whiteboard in there in the locker room. I noticed the offense guys were playing hangman for a little while. Told them to walk around the concourse and just kind of get their mind off the game for a little bit. And then once we got an idea about when we were going to play again, we just kind of went through our pregame routine, and guys got locked back in and went out there and played well.
Was there ever a chance the game was going to get canceled?
They had talked about it, maybe like being a no contest. We did not want to do that. We got in touch with our pilots, and they said as long as we're taking off by 4 o'clock in the morning, we're good. So I figured if we could start playing again by 1 a.m., we'd be in good shape. You only get 12 guaranteed opportunities, and so I didn't want to waste this one. We were traveling here anyway. We had already prepped all week, and especially after last week, really wanted to get out there and play. So I'm glad we were able to do so.
The game-winning touchdown drive. Obviously, you hadn't scored in the second half until then. What were you doing better on that second half touchdown, on the game-winning touchdown drive, than you had all the rest of the second half?
I think guys were just executing, and we had a couple miscues. And credit to Virginia Tech, they were playing pretty stout there, especially in that third quarter. But I thought Hudson made a couple plays. Tyrone Tracy made some big plays. Abdur Yassin made a big catch. They just kept making big play after big play when we needed it most, and really showed some grit there down the stretch.
No turnovers in 2 games.
Yeah, we preach all the time about things that lose you games, and it's penalties, mental errors, and turnovers. And we've been pretty clean the first 2 games in those 3 aspects. And we talk about winning games for us is being competitive, being tough, and being disciplined. And a week ago, I felt like we didn't check the discipline box, and so that was what we were preaching all week this week. And I feel like we played a lot more discipline today, and as a result, we were able to win the game.
How did you see that on the field? playing more discipline this time than last week. I guess what did you see on the field that kind of made you think that?
Just less mental errors. Really not the mental errors, like technique and errors, like fundamental errors. You know, if I'm supposed to be on the edge, I got to be on the edge. For rush lanes, if I got to be in the B gap, I got to be in the B gap. If I'm a wide out, my split is supposed to be 3 yards outside of hash, I got to be 3 yards outside of hash. And so just the little details, they all matter. And so we were preaching that, and those guys took it to heart.
A real conscious effort to get Hudson Card more involved as a runner this week?
Yeah, well, it was. That was really a big part of the, especially the short yardage plan. We didn't get the 4th and inches, which is going to drive us crazy. But I did feel like him pulling it opened up some things, and they had to play us honest in that aspect. And he's able to move the chains a couple times with his legs.
Nick Scorton said that he met with you this week and said, we still believe in you, we believe in this defense. How important is that after the performance last week that they said, listen, we know this is going to work and we got to get better at it?
Yeah, they're smart. They watch tape and they see, they saw the film just like we saw the film, but it is good to just know the type of chemistry that we have. Anytime you got a new staff and it's a lot of new faces in the locker room and you drop that opener, the thing that you worry about is the finger pointing and the doubt, and there was never an ounce of that. Were guys upset that we lost? Absolutely. Were guys irritated throughout the week? Absolutely. But it was because they understood how good we can be and the potential we have as a team if everybody's on the same page and everybody's doing their job. And so, they like I said, they prepared and practiced the right way this week, and you kind of saw that today.
You've been to 2 games now where you've had to drop down and score basically a go-ahead or winning touchdown. Those are simulation or situations you can't simulate in practice no matter how much you try. How big is that just for when you've been in any scenario now moving forward? We've done this already.
Yeah, it's huge. You try to we simulate those kind of scenarios all the time. We work in the half and in the game throughout the week. But until you go out there and do it in a game, that to be able to draw from that experience is huge. And so, really proud of the guys for pulling this one out.
They scored 17 straight points on you to tie the game up. Did you make certain adjustments or corrections at halftime that enabled you guys to shut them out in the second half?
We basically went through the route tree and what routes we were getting out of certain sets and communicated that on defense. So I thought they played those better. We got to a couple different 3rd down calls. 3rd downs were huge for us today, and that was an area that we lacked a week ago. But ultimately, it was just the guys out on the field making plays when we needed them to make plays, and not pressing and panicking. They just stayed within the framework of the scheme and made the plays that they were supposed to make.
Who dumped water on you?
I don't know. I think Markevius Brown was one of them. I turned around, there was a whole bunch of white jerseys laughing. So I don't know.
Anything else? All right.